What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean. And today, reactions to the classics. We're going to be taking a look at Canadian group Sloan and their record, The Double Cross. This suggestion comes courtesy of one of our favorite patrons and Canadians, Bruce.
So, super smart music guy, too.
And we'll be sharing some of Bruce's thoughts on these songs and just Sloan as a whole, since he's familiar with them and knows a little, since he is Canadian, a little fabric of the band a little bit. I always like hearing the thoughts of people that live in the country or area where these bands are the most popular.
Agreed.
So if you enjoy this video, y'all be sure to hit that big thumbs up as well as that big red subscribe button. And then you can also check out all of our social media down in the description below. Especially look for our Facebook group. Lots of great stuff there, as well as our podcast.
Every Friday.
Yes, sir. And then if you'd like to support us for as little as $1 a month, you can check out our Patreon page as well. But all that to say, we're going to get into some quick facts before we get to this track-by-track review.
It is Sloan's 10th studio album. It's only 34 minutes long. It was released in May of 2011, and at the 2012 Juno Awards, it was nominated for Rock Album of the Year. And a little background on Sloan. They're Canadian, Toronto-based rock band, originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia. They've released 12 full-length albums overall, received 9 Juno Awards, winning 1. Between 96 and 2016, they were among the top 75 best-selling Canadian artists in Canada and among the top 25 best-selling Canadian bands in Canada. They're known for their sharing of songwriting and lead vocals, which you'll see on this one, from each member of the group, and their unaltered lineup throughout their career, which, Trey, as we know with bands, is amazing. They have stayed together. And I will tell you, I always, if you're familiar with this channel, you already know this, I research like crazy on these albums. There's just not a lot to find on Sloan, but you referenced it. Bruce is a super smart guy. He, of course, wanted us to do this album. He sent us this fantastic write-up, not only of Sloan in general in this album, but really on a lot of specific songs. Say that real fast. And so we're going to be using a lot of that, and we'll note when I'm using. We're going to give you credit, Bruce, because you sent us great info. So.
And speaking of Bruce, he said that this record is one that's, kind of meant to be listened start to finish in a sense, yet also it's got enough meat there to talk about each song individually, and each one could kind of stand as a single because, man, I'll tell you what, these guys are just pretty darn catchy.
They are very catchy.
I'll tell you that. Got that kind of power pop type of vibe to them, and fused with indie, and just a really cool sound. And Sloan was, though they're big, as you were shouting the numbers in Canada, didn't really find success here in the States. They had a couple of big singles in Money City Maniacs and If It Feels Good, Do It. They're a quartet featuring bassist Chris Murphy and guitarist Patrick Pentland, both of which handle the lead vocals, and they share songwriting duties with drummer Andrew Scott and guitarist Jay Ferguson. The band's team effort is what helped make the most of their harmonies and melodic classic rock vibe, a song that helped propel 30 singles, many of which found their way to the top of the Canadian charts.
So Follow the Leader is our opening track. A good track sung by Murphy. Bruce kind of talked about this as a nostalgia-based, almost a 70s type of song, a little Beatles-esque stuff in there. Starts out with the driving drums all the way through, and then the piano comes in there. I thought it was a good opening track.
Yeah, this actually was one of my favorites. You're immediately introduced to their sound that's very modern and sleek, yet with the harmonies and just the melodies and just the catchiness of the tunes harkens back to some of the 60s and 70s group that we know and love here at the channel. So I was immediately struck by that. I like the lyric that goes along the lines of, you gotta choose your battles. Sometimes that's all you can choose. I do like that idea, and it transitions seamlessly, almost like these could have been one song into the next track.
The Answer Was You. Just a nice, catchy song. Got a nice little string section in there. Just, it sticks in your head like a lot of these songs do.
No, the transitions on all of this record are great, but probably none better than these first two songs where they transition seamlessly. Didn't like it as much as the opener, but hey, man, it was still cool. And then we go into the first single, Unkind.
Yeah, and one of my favorite tracks.
Oh, mine too.
Just absolutely everything works. The lyricism is simple. They repeat the chorus over and over. Between the lyricism and the instrumentation, it just all works into a perfect pop single.
Oh yeah, very slick guitar lead there, which I enjoyed. And you kind of mentioned the harmonies a little bit. It uses one of my favorite song techniques where in the chorus they're like singing, and then in the back you have those like background vocals that are singing another line. It has an anthemic like quality to it, which is what you could describe, I think, for a lot of Sloans. They're a group that if knock on wood, if we ever get concerts again and they ever come by Texas, it'd be a fun one to just go and hang out and see. I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah, I do too. One of the great lyrics I liked is, well, it's your talent. You suck the life out of the room. A revelation. You peel the lines off of the truth. I don't know why you have to be unkind. Just continues to repeat, was one of the things that works for me. That's going to move us on to...
We got Shadow of Love. Remember this line, living in the shadow of love is all some people can do. That'll pop up here in a little bit, but it's a song that musically reflects its title. You just kind of want to bob your head.
Yeah, it's very driving with the drums.
Yeah, bob your head and just some pop beauty. Don't have too much more to add than that.
It's barely over 2 minutes. The chorus just keeps repeating. Yeah, it's just meant to stick in your head.
And that's something, too, that we can kind of park for a little bit. The song lengths, there's this, it's a little over 30 minutes long.
34 minutes, 12 songs.
12 tracks. Like, we had a couple songs that were just barely over 2 minutes.
Yeah.
One that was 1 minute 22 seconds.
Yeah.
It was interesting kind of how they shifted that. You don't need to, sometimes if you've got a minute and a half of good stuff to work with.
That's all you need, man.
Don't try to stretch it out, So I thought that was a good way to just keep the record moving. And speaking of that, we'll go now to track number 5.
She's slowing down again. Features some 60s type of stuff in there with a ba 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 background. First part is very Beatles. I think it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, I enjoy the lyric, living life at a pace her own kids can't keep. She can see it's everything that she needs. You mentioned I definitely got some major, early Beach Boys, Beatles type of vibes with the harmonies here. Very impressive throughout this whole record, but especially on this song. And I think this thematically reflects the hustle and bustle of our modern world, man. I thought it was just a cool story, great subject matter to tackle. So I dug this one for sure.
I did too. That's going to take us to Green Garden's Cold Montreal. Bruce mentions this would have fit right in on a Simon and Garfunkel album. It's a quiet, finger-picked folk song. Totally agree. Way dialed back. A totally different Trey. I thought it was a pretty good song.
Yeah, even going folk here, they still kept the essence of their sound that still had some of those pop sensibilities.
Yeah, but showed that they could be more than just writing those catchy lyrics, which is a difficult thing to do as well. But that's why I like this, because it was just a total different turn.
No, totally. Me too. Not one of my favorites or anything, but as you mentioned, and as Bruce mentioned, a little Simon and Garfunkel-esque here, which was pretty neat. If you're a watcher of this channel and like the old school stuff and can't find something new, I think this is a record you definitely might enjoy. But we'll go now to track number 7.
It's Plain to See. And in this song, the person keeps coming around, knocking on the door, wanting to talk, but he wants nothing of it. He keeps repeating, because it's plain to see when it comes to you and me, this understanding's a misunderstanding easily. It starts out with just vocals, just for the first couple seconds, no lyrics. So I thought that was a great way to just be different again, coming in off the last song. Pretty good.
Yeah, this is a pop song that walks with the briskness of a punk tune, I thought. And just a cool little song here. Not as good though as this next track. We got Your Daddy Will Do. One of my favorites. I loved, again, how they tackled this subject matter, because talking about this woman who had a bunch of success, really smart gal, and she ends up having a child with this guy who's, he's kind of a bum. And there's no nice way to put it, man. And eventually he had to get his act together. It's for their child, essentially, and she kind of reminisces and thinks, well, I could have had many better men here, but you know what, your daddy will do. So just a very cool subject matter here, and I don't know, it's just it's a unique take kind of in the song. So all in all, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was more chilled, some really nice harmonies on here, and I haven't talked a lot about that, but there are some nice harmonies on many of these songs, which you just don't find that often anymore in music. I mean, I know this was back in 2011, but that wasn't that long ago. You didn't find it very much then. Now we're already starting to wind down the record as we go to. I've Got to Know. It's that minute 22 you were talking about, Trey. It's fast tempo. It's almost punkish, as Bruce talks about. She is driving him insane with her indecision about their relationship. Although it's short in a minute 22, the lyrics, it covers a lot, man. They get
it really does.
after it.
No, that's what I said in my notes. This proves the song doesn't have to be long to be catchy or get its point across. Though this isn't a top tier song on the record, this is one when you're driving down, you want to roll down the windows, turn your stereo up to 11, so to speak. So again, just kind of going to that catchy pop vibe that this group is so good at doing, and that'll take us to our next track.
Already to track number 10 of the 12. Beverly Terrace has tremendous bass on this song. That was what I wrote down as the highlight for me. This is one of my favorites.
And this is where it has the refrain that we heard earlier in the record on Shadow of Love, which I thought was a cool thread that connected the record. The living in the shadow of love is all some people can do. Again, another catchy blend of with the melody and the harmonies going in. I know I'm a broken record on it, but hey man, these guys do what they do very well. So
yeah, that takes us to Traces. This song is the outlier because it's 5 minutes long, and it's the song on here almost that I would pick that I wouldn't want to be 5 minutes long. Bruce likened it sort of to a Petty song. To me, it sounded more like a Doors song.
That is very interesting that you said that, because in my notes I said here a bit of a mashup between the Doors and Petty. That is weird.
That is weird, but okay. So what did you think of it?
No, I'm with you. It is a longer track, not one of my favorite. Another highlight of this track I thought was the bass work, pretty remarkable at some points. But yeah, it is funny how we noted the Doors and Doors little inspired sound there, and then I thought this was a good, solid tune as well. I think I liked it just a little more than you did. And then we go to our closing track, which slows down the tempo.
It does.
Just a little bit. And to me, I thought kind of had a little bit of that 90s alt-rock feel.
It did. It's laying so low. And basically the premise of the song is he wants her to choose him, but he's playing it cool, Trey. He's laying really low, so he's not sure because he's just doing that if she's going to choose him or if she even knows that he wants her to choose him. So guys, you got to be a little bit aggressive. It's hard to play cool when you don't want to come on too strong, but man alive, you got to at least let her know that you're interested. But this is one of my favorites on the album. I really liked it.
I thought it was a great closer, man.
Yeah.
I loved the whole ambiance of the tune, and just the subject matter, as you mentioned, was again kind of neat. Tackled a lot of different subject matters on this record in a great way, which is kind of tough to do once you reach your double digits in your studio records here.
Yeah, and double digits on the album itself too, with 12 tracks.
Absolutely. So that'll take us now to our favorite tunes. For me, I'm going to be Follow the Leader, Unkind, and Your Daddy Will Do.
So I'll be with Unkind, Laying So Low, and Beverly Terrace. So a little bit of variety there in ours. Now we get to our overall score. Sometimes you want to just throw an album on. I listened to this several times, and after the first time of going through it really deep on the lyrics and doing all that, then I could just throw it on and listen to it because it's not going to fatigue you as a listener. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're listening to, let's say, Dylan, for example, it's going to fatigue you as a listener because the lyrics are what really makes the song. And the lyrics are fine, but it's not what makes the song. You just throw it on and you can just kind of just listen along,
vibe with the melody,
and enjoy it, man. So for that reason, it serves its purpose, right? It's a really good album. There's no weak tracks on here, although I didn't like Traces that much. It's not a weak track. As you mentioned, short jaunt, 34 minutes, 12 songs. I'm going to give it a very solid 7.0 and an album that I will throw on again and just listen to in the phones when I'm trying to do something that takes more concentration, because it's not going to pull away from me.
It's so much catchy tunes in here, man. I really just we haven't had a record that we reviewed like this in a while that's so kind of pop centric, but yet it has that modern feel that it still is able to kind of blend and harken back to the 60s and 70s classic groups that we all know and love, man. So I'm with you. I was right at a 7.0.
All right.
Good record, man. I would definitely encourage those, as I mentioned earlier, that like some of the Beach Boys, Beatles-esque, even Doors type of sound, some Petty in there, to maybe go and check this record out.
Yeah, because I've never heard of these guys, so likely most of you have never heard of them either, unless you're our brothers and sisters north of the border.
And that's something, too, as we film this on Canada Day here on
that's true.
July
1st.
It is interesting because this does have a very accessible,
Yeah,
at times even mainstream. Not to, I don't say that as a dig at all, but it is a little surprising that they didn't get over a little more here in the States, because especially in that 2011 where this type of pop type of sound was in vogue a little bit. I'm surprised, but I'm glad, Bruce, that you brought this
to us.
Bruce. If you're familiar with Sloan, let us know your favorite records by them and your thoughts on this record in the comments below. Thanks as always, Dad, for the research. Great, and until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.